Hello there. I'm going to run a poll in this one. So there's going to be somewhere either in this corner or this corner a little tab for you to click on and to vote. And it's just going to be simple yes or no. And you're going to be surprised by this. I had a friend who emails me from time to time with suggestions and his thoughts. I met him during my For Britain days and we stayed in touch. Nice guy. Hello, Mark. His suggestion is this. It's advice to the Conservatives. Theresa May announces that it's impossible to get a deal for the politicians to sign, agree to, and obviously the people to accept. So she would then have to say, right, she's going to call a general election. So, by the way, we all knew that. Everyone's known that for quite a long time now, haven't we? That the EU are never going to give us a deal that was palatable to us. And we should have been working on a no deal 2 years ago and just said to the EU, we're doing this no deal unless you want to do a deal with us. But otherwise, we don't think you will. So off we go, and you can come back to us when you want to do trade with us, and we'll be ready to trade with you. Simple as that, really. But anyway, Theresa May announces a snap general election again. This time, because obviously Labour are in the front seat at the moment, this time she puts as her main, almost like one policy on this election. They're going to campaign on just one thing, and that is, if they get majority government, they deliver no deal Brexit. So basically people will vote for them for the no deal. In a way, it's kind of like negating a referendum, right? So initially, my thoughts were, no, I've said I'll never vote for that shower ever again. Lib, Lab or Con. None of them. Because they're the establishment and they're rotten to the core. We need to clean the swamp. And then I spent the day thinking about it. And I thought to myself, actually, because I wouldn't trust, the reason why I wouldn't vote for them is because I wouldn't trust them to follow it through. I think they'd then find an excuse. They'd find some reason to, oh, hang on a minute, we can do a deal now, but it just keeps us in the customs union, but that's a good thing, right? That sort of thing. But actually, I think the civil disobedience and probably flat out rioting that would take place if they duped everybody once more, got them to vote for them in, and then did it. And I don't think the Conservative Party would survive that. I think it would be the death of them. They probably wouldn't even get to serve the entire term because there'll be absolutely no confidence in them. They'll just be rioting. It'll be an absolute mess. The country would be in disarray. So they would have to follow through on it. So then this is how many people would vote for them that would have no intention of ever voting for them either, ever or ever again. Like so me, I've voted for Conservative many times in my life, but I never would again. But if they did this, I might. How many Labour, like lifelong Labour, like working class types, that would they vote Labour? Would they vote Conservative if it guaranteed the Brexit that they want? So Labour voters, you can also put in the comments your thoughts, but the poll will just be yes or no. Would the parties UKIP and For Britain, for instance, would they get behind this and support it? I believe in 2015, Nigel Farage encouraged UKIP voters to vote Tory because they put the referendum there. So would Gerard Batten and Anne-Marie say, okay, this time round, guys, we want you to vote Conservative because we're guaranteed the Brexit? And then what they have is they have 4 to 5 years to really work on what their policy is going to be moving forward, because they can take Brexit off of it, because I don't think there'll even be parties that will be campaigning on re-entering the EU, because there might not even be an EU in 5 years' time. With Britain gone, without that money, they've got to get that money from somewhere else. I assume we don't do as the doom and gloom isn't true. We do all right. We may even flourish after leaving. So what's to say the French and the Italians and the Germans and all the Spanish and Portuguese, what have you, they don't go, hang on a minute, why do we need this EU for in the first place? That's just, so it could well be done. This could be the final nail in the coffin of the EU. So then UKIP and For Britain can then start working on what their policies are going forwards. I already suggested to the chairman of one of the groups in UKIP that they have a policy where anyone that's going to be a candidate for UKIP agrees contractually to have some sort of audit on them, maybe every year or something like that, where financially they're checked out. Are you taking bungs? Are lobbyists giving you money for your vote in a particular direction, or those, etc.? Because it happens, and you can't just assume that all UKIP or for Britain MPs, when we start getting them, will just be not tempted to be a little bit corrupt, because if it's going on everywhere around them, everyone's got their hand in the jar. You go, well, I might as well put my hand in the jar as well. So I would want UKIP to start working on policies to guarantee that that doesn't happen, not from UKIP members anyway, because that'll get a lot of trust from voters, in my opinion. Also, I'd like them to start working on ways to get something like a proper constitution in place that protects rights. Clearly, obviously, like get rid of hate speech, put in everybody has absolute freedom of speech, as long as they're not inciting violence, or as long as they're not shouting fire in a theatre, that sort of stuff. All other stuff, if someone's offended, tough luck, toughen up buttercup, that sort of constitution. Feel free to let me know what things you would have in your constitution. I've done this before, and I've even talked about you should have as many roast potatoes as you want with your Sunday roast, that sort of stuff, if you want to get silly. I think that's it really, and just I would just love to see how many Tory Ramona MPs would have to turn around and support a no deal, or would they have the integrity to say no? All the way I've been Remain. I want a second referendum. I'm going to resign from my post because I cannot support this. Very few. Can you imagine Anna Soubry? I would just thoroughly enjoy watching her then say what a great idea the no deal is, and of course that's what we should have. Love it. Anyway, so either up there or up there. Give me a vote. Let me know. Would you vote Conservative? Bye.